Sleepy Hollow episode 7 titled The Midnight Ride. I really enjoyed this episode. It's actually really good. It encompassed like pretty much everything that this show is, kind of shown to us throughout every episode aside from, Abbie's sister. I felt like that was the one thing missing from the whole episode. And she was mentioned, of course, but, she wasn't actually in it. So at the start of this episode, unfortunately, the Masons get killed off. I was hoping, last week, like, oh, they got the Masons in. They're basically an entire team of good guys who help, Abbie and Ichabod, and then, they just all get decapitated, unfortunately. But, hopefully we'll get maybe like another section or whatever to sort of fill in their position in Sleepy Hollow, if not this season, then, next season or something like that. But they're killed off in the beginning of this episode, and I was hoping Ichabod would kind of have a fight with Death, but that doesn't happen either because Death is on a mission, and that mission is to find his head because he wants to get his head so that he can bring in the other three horsemen. So, this entire episode is Abbie and Ichabod trying to figure out how do we keep him from getting his head, and basically save the world. And in this episode, we get John Cho. He comes back to life pretty much. Um, Andy Brooks, yeah, I had to look at it because it's still up there. But he comes back to life. He talks to Morales, and it was kind of good to see Morales come in this episode because I feel like they were really, like they introduced his character. He was like the ex-boyfriend and the guy who was suspicious of Ichabod. That was really it. But in this episode, we get, he has like a huge dilemma because Brooks comes back to life pretty much, like he died. And then he comes to him and he's like, I'm the only one who can save Abbie. And who knows why he's suddenly just like switched sides. And maybe it's because, he got his neck snapped and, all this weird stuff. And he has like, gross flesh and all that extra crap. But for some reason, he decides to, help Abbie and Ichabod out in this episode. Or at least, tell Abbie and Morales himself, I'm here to help you. Yeah, I'm the only one who can do it, so you need to, he tells Morales, you gotta, like, stay away from her because there are other people like me who are watching her. So it was kind of cool to see Morales have that conflict where he's trying to get back into Abbie's life because he still cares about her. And because he does, he's freaking out and he's getting a lot closer to the supernatural stuff because obviously when someone who's dead comes back to life and admits, yeah, I was dead, it kind of leads you into all the crazy stuff going on. And I guess to leap off of that, Orlando Jones is officially in the fold now because he had to deal with, the Headless Horseman when he went to, I guess, the medical center to pick up his head. And, the Headless Horseman comes in, shoots up the doctor. Orlando Jones, like, just dodges the axe, and then, of course, it chops off, like, the eagle's head, which was kind of cool because it was like he still chopped something's head off. But it's cool that we finally got that. I was hoping he wouldn't die, and I figured he wouldn't. And, it went, like I wanted it to. He is officially in the fold. He saw the Headless Horseman, and, of course, he can't prove anything because once the Headless Horseman came in, as they mentioned, the cameras just suddenly cut out. So, he's in the fold with Abbie and Ichabod now. So that'll be really cool to see how he's less of an obstacle, even though he barely was, because he'd always say, I really doubt this, but go ahead anyway. And so now that he's dealt with the Headless Horseman himself, he's full force. He's going to be in it, with Abbie and Ichabod. So I'm excited to see just how that plays out, because I enjoy Orlando Jones' character, even though I don't even know his name, because I swear they only say it like once every other time they show him. But I do enjoy his character, and we don't really get much out of him at all, really. We got like a little bit out of him. We got more out of him in this episode, I think, than in any other one. And we got like the tiniest bit of information. He has a daughter, and he's divorced and doesn't really like his ex-wife. So that's pretty much all we got out of that. And I enjoyed that moment because it was funny, because he has like subtle moments that are funny, or funny subtle moments, I guess I should say. So I enjoyed that because it was all about him for like that couple of seconds when the other officer came in, and then it went back to Abbie and Ichabod. But I'm glad he's in the fold now. Everything about this episode I thought was really well done. Some things were good, some things I didn't enjoy. Like I said, the Masons, like, I loved the episode overall, don't get me wrong, but I really wish that they did survive because I was hoping they'd have like a cool whole team of good guys, but we find out that the Masons have this information on basically how to defeat death. And I love how they figured it out. They get the manuscript from online. Um, you know, Icahbod, dealing with the computer was really funny. Like every part, him, the online chat stuff, and just him trying to read the manuscript because he was just hitting buttons. Love that. Love the stuff about him and being mad about water and people paying for water. And when he gets like the free water at the end, he says, this was free. And then Abbie says, like, so is the arsenic. And he kind of freaks out because for anyone who doesn't know, arsenic is basically just death. Like, it is poison, so it will kill you. So that was really funny to see where he has to deal with just how things are because you can't just get clean water out of a stream these days because of how things have changed. And also, him hearing how we as, modern people view people like Paul Revere or Jefferson and things like that, and that was really funny too. But him like he said himself, like I guess you don't really know people, but loved all his funny moments. They put a lot of it in this episode, I thought, but it was also connected to his backstory because it was how we change so many things throughout time, which is a normal thing. Like if any of you have ever played the game where it's like one person says something and then it goes around the room and by the end it's something completely different. It's kind of like that. It's just even real life stories do change over time because of what one person might say extra or one person might take out that's important, things like that. So it was cool to see that. And ultimately in the end we get to see Death go up against Ichabod and Abbie, and they trick him and they make him think they have his head. And I love how they tricked him and he's crushing all these little fake heads, and eventually like once he sees the third one he's like it's fake and he just steps on it. And he chases down Abbie because he realizes it's his head because it glimmers because of the silver and the against the light. And he chases her down, and then they trick him and put him into a devil's trap with UV light. And so they've captured Death. Saw the preview, really excited for next week. Who knows how the heck that's gonna play out, but either they're gonna end up killing Death somehow or he's gonna escape because some other demons do come to his aid. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But love the episode. It kind of caught me off guard when it ended because I was like, oh, this is gonna be really good after the commercial, and then it went off like right after they caught him. I was like, oh, and that sucked. But love the episode overall. So definitely comment below, let me know what you thought of it. Favorite parts, least favorite part if you have one. And how do you think things are gonna go now that they have captured Death? What do you think they're really gonna get out of him, or so to speak? What type of information do you think they're gonna get out of him as far as ending the apocalypse? So comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.